Well, hello and welcome to Follow Everton. This is the Everton news for the 21st of July, 2023. There's a fair bit to catch up on in terms of Everton news. And I just want to welcome you all to the show. If you're new here, please make sure you subscribe and, of course, like the video. We're going to be talking about a whole host of things this afternoon, including Everton's new away kit. The news that Danjuma is set to sign on a season-long loan from Villarreal. Plenty of other transfer news and rumours as well. Talk of a severance pay for Denise Barrett-Baxendale. And, of course, a little bit of personal news as well. So I'm going to go straight in with thoughts on the away kit that's came out this morning. So it is like a salmon and sort of coloured kit with some navy highlights. And yeah, it's definitely inspired by some of the older, more retro kits. I believe in one season we had an Everton home shirt with a collar. We had the away kit, which was a salmon/red kit, and then the third kit is grey. Was grey that year, and I have it on good authority that the third kit this season is grey as well. So I think the trio of kits are based on sort of like 90s kits. Yeah, I mean, I personally won't be buying this one. I don't tend to buy the away kits or third kits unless they're truly spectacular. I'm still waiting for like a navy with amber highlights or gold highlights or a black with gold highlights away kit or third. I get the reason why they've done this is so they can use it if they're playing against a blue team or, you know, team where the other colours would clash. I think this will I do like the collar design with the sort of the taper. Is that how you call it? Like it's almost like Fred Perry style collar. But yeah, I personally won't be buying it because I don't buy away kits or third kits, but I think it definitely has a place for some people who loved those salmon kits. I'm just going to hold it up to people if they haven't seen. There it is. And if you are buying one, I'll put the link out on here because you can get 15% off on kit bag with the code SCORE15. And of course, if you do use our affiliate link, just to be clear, it is an affiliate link, then the funds will go back into the channel to cover the costs to run the channel and all the freebies and things we like to do. So I'll share that link shortly. Let me know what you think of the away kit. Do you like it? It's different, isn't it? I mean, we seem to rotate. One year we go with amber, the next year we go with the salmon. Yeah, I want to know what people think. Peter's not too impressed. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. So that's the away kit, and I have it on good authority. I believe the third kit is going to be a grey kit. I want to touch on something personal as well, just before I go on, because I think I was just waiting for a few more people to come on the stream first. But our much-loved channel member, Amy, she lost her mum very, very suddenly on Sunday just gone. I think it was Sunday just gone. So we had a few days downtime. We were all in shock, very, very upset for Amy to lose her mum because her mum was only 45 years of age. And obviously Amy herself is only a young girl, so she must be going through, I can't imagine what it must be like. But I just want to extend my condolences to Amy, and I think we should all do that. If we can do that in the comments, hopefully she'll watch this back if she gets time and she wants to maybe have a distraction from things and does choose to watch it. She'll see your comments, but your well wishes, I'll certainly pass them on as well. But yeah, so Amy Dixon lost her mum really suddenly, and so we've had a few days downtime on Twitter and stuff on YouTube as well. Thoughts are with her and the family. I'll be honest, I don't know when Amy will be on any streams for the foreseeable, and completely understandable. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know where the rest of the gang are. I think they've all got personal circumstances as well. So I'm going to continue doing the streams and keeping you all updated throughout the summer. And then hopefully some of the guys will have a little bit more time to come on for the post-match reactions and stuff. But yeah, really, really sad about Amy, actually. Just going to look at the comments here and just going to put them on the screen. So if she does see this, she'll see that she's in all of your thoughts. It's from David, Mr. Toffees, the Blues. We've got Mark. Thank you so much. Emma, Neil, Peter, and our other Emma. To be honest, she loves you guys, and I think she wouldn't, want the show not to go on, so to speak. So that's why we're doing it today. Right. So moving on for now, I'm going to talk about some of the other things that have been going on. It is a little bit of a subdued stream, as you can imagine, but I'm gonna try and cover all the bases. I'll go back to yesterday with what I'd seen, and that was that Crystal Palace were interested in signing Damari Gray. Personally, I think he scored twice from open play last season. He was in and out of the side under Sean Dyche. Sean liked to play him up front. I think he had, he had the speed possibly to stretch some defences and offer a bit of a different threat to what we had. He did okay. He didn't actually score any goals from open play as a striker. And you know what? I think Damari Gray, as part of a squad moving forward, is the type of player we should try and keep. Unless we're getting good money for him. If we're only getting 3 or 4 million, I think absolutely we need to keep him because we've got to have bodies. I think we're going to really struggle to fill a bench next season as it stands. But if someone like Crystal Palace possibly came in with 12 million or this Al Halal in Saudi Arabia offer a good fee, 12 to 15 million, I don't see how Everton can turn that down. But if it's a smaller fee, I think Everton have absolutely got to try and keep hold of the player because, I don't know how we can replace him for like 3-4 million. Even though he isn't great, we've got to have some bodies in there. What do you guys think about that? I mean, Emma's saying we'll get more from the Saudis, but we can only kind of accept what's on the table. Interestingly, he did do an interview. I think it was a Sky Sports interview very recently within the last week, which got published. And he seemed to talk about ambitions of the World Cup with Jamaica, I think it was, and playing in the Champions League. But, with the greatest of respect to Damari Gray, he's not a Champions League quality player, certainly not an England, for an English team. Possibly he could go somewhere abroad where they're in the Champions League, but then there's no longevity in that. They will get knocked out in the group stages perhaps or something like that. So, he really needs to kick on if he's got aspirations of Champions League because he's nowhere near that level as far as I'm concerned. But he didn't, indicate he wanted to leave. I think the way he came across to me was like he wants to kick on next season and do better than this season, not be in a relegation battle and contribute more goals and assists. And I think with the preseason under his belt and a little bit more of a defined system and a way of playing with more time, I think he can have an impact. I think next season, if he does stay, I think it'll be more off the bench because I think we are looking at wingers, which I'll come on to. And off the bench with 20 minutes to go with a bit of pace and his fresh legs, I think he can have an impact. But I certainly hope we can aspire in the medium to long term to do better. But just keeping an eye on the comments as well. Appreciate all the comments and your support because it is another solo stream today. Good evening, David, who's just dropped in. Good evening, Richo. Thank you for coming on. The Blues are saying, didn't Gray score against Forest playing up front when Pickford played that pass? I think it was... No, I don't think he played up front in that game. It was a 1-1 draw at the start of the season, but I don't think he played up front in that game. Correct me if I'm wrong. Neil saying exactly, the Saudis offer silly money, then yes, if not, keep him. Exactly, Neil. Exactly. If they offer good money, 12 to 15 million, absolutely he can go, whether that's Crystal Palace. I don't see why Palace would want him. I don't think he can replace Wilfred Zaha. But if we get a good offer, he can go. If we get a sort of a mediocre offer, I think we've got to keep him for the bodies. Relegate him to a squad player, start some matches, and get in more quality, more players who are going to get goals and assists on a consistent basis. Wonderlust is also passing his condolences to Amy. Appreciate that. And Richo. We'll continue to touch on that throughout the stream. I think it is very important, obviously, because she's much loved member of the Follow Everton group. Moving on, apparently Wilfred. I don't like to pronounce this guy. Is it Gnonto? The Italian 19-year-old winger plays for Crystal Palace. Plays for Leeds at the moment. Who've been relegated to the Championship, and he's made like 10 appearances for Italy, the national team. He's doing quite well. Two goals last season, I think, or 4 goals and 2 assists. It might be the other way around, actually. Thank you, Gnonto, the Blues, our loyal watcher. every time I watched Leeds, I looked out for this guy, and he kind of made me nervous because obviously I really wanted Leeds to lose the games because we were in competition with them. But this guy was playing on the left midfield most of the time. He's running past players for fun, pace, can cut inside on that right foot and shoot. I remember, I think it was at Old Trafford, he scored within the first minute. I remember away at Nottingham Forest, he had Sergio Aurier on toast. Not that takes a lot, but in fairness, I watched Forest in some of the later games, and Aurier did okay at right back. So Gnonto at left wing, he impressed me quite a lot. I considered him their danger man, but so now to be linked with him is exciting. The talk is we'd offered 15 million or 16 million, got rejected. They want 19 million for him. He's only 19. You'd say it's medium to low risk signing, given that fee and his age and his career trajectory. Leeds won't be happy, but if the player wants to go, I don't think they can stand in his way. He's got international aspirations with the World Cup, etc. next year, 2024. So hopefully they can get that one over the line and come to some sort of arrangement. I think we'd offered him a 2 million after tax salary. So it's not massive wages. It's like 50,000 a week, but I suppose it's plus tax because Italian media report it minus tax. So it's probably more like 75k a week. Yeah, I mean, for that kind of money and that kind of fee, he's got to come in. I don't care what anyone says about his age. He's got to come in. Yes, he's got massive potential, but he's got to come in and get goals, get assists. I don't think we need a left winger, if I'm honest with you. Certainly with the other news that we're talking about and with Dwight McNeil probably being our most important player. But he can play right-sided wing as well, and hopefully McNeil can then be possibly freed up to play attacking midfield, maybe behind a striker on the right. Sorry, yes, Peter, the Euros. Is it the Euros? I thought we'd only just had the Euros. Oh yeah, the Euros. Sorry, I'm getting confused. But yeah, he's got to, he's got to hit the ground running. I think of that kind of money. Let's hope he can get that over the line though, because Everton will find Everton will find some kind of way of not getting the deal done. Hopefully, it's not a phantom bid. Hopefully, it is a genuine bid, and Everton and Leeds can come to sort of agreements. The player, I don't think it gets to this kind of stage without the player really giving us an indication. Apparently, he's already said yes to us. It's just down to the clubs to agree a fee and the structure. Right. I'm going to move on. We parted ways with Box T. We're looking for a new shirt sleeve sponsor. Again, you'd have hoped that could have been done before the kits are printed because some fans do want the authentic kit with the sleeve sponsor on. I know a lot of you aren't bothered. You want rid of sponsors. It's not really big news, but, you're looking at £1 or £2 million that we're missing out on because, we haven't got a sleeve sponsor. Again, for me, it's completely amateur and embarrassing, but I don't want to be too negative. So we talked about Gnonto. He wants to join. Everton got to agree a fee. We also linked with, as David Goundry is saying here, Victor Boniface, but apparently Bayer Leverkusen are interested in him now. Everton seem to be looking at the kind of profile of the 20, 21, 22-year-old forward. They're all quite similar in profile, if I'm being honest with you. And Brian Broby is another one, apparently. Vinny O'Connor reported that we were interested in. No formal bid, but they've made their interest known. Everton are apparently pondering, considering, thinking about, potentially looking at. You can come up with as many of these sort of terms as possible. But Brian Broby is an Ajax striker. He's built like a tank. It's a sort of player that Everton need to be getting in because I think, a young striker, sell on fee. If he does well, if he explodes and does amazing, you sell him on for massive money. If he's good, we keep him and, he has an impact at Everton. And if he's not so good, well, I suppose you can say that about any player really, but they consider it, medium risk. So Brian Broby is another one there. Dyer is another player, DIA, another striker, Boulay, I think it is. Centre forward again fits in the same profile, and of course you've got El Bilal Toure. At this stage, I don't really mind which one. I don't really know an awful lot about them. I just want to get someone of that profile in, a young up-and-coming striker. Let's get Calvert-Lewin fit. And, of course, we've got the big news coming up of Danjuma joining, which I'll talk more in detail. So I think between the three of them, and then I wonder whether we can get a fourth in. I really do. I really hope maybe an experienced striker, possibly if Neil Maupay leaves. And this is what, people are talking about. In Iheanacho, for me, I looked at his goal scoring record. He'd only scored more than more than 5 goals in one Premier League season in 6 years at Leicester. Yes, you've got the other side of the coin. People saying he didn't play many games, and his goals to minutes ratio is superb. I think it's maybe 1 goal in 120 minutes. But the Iheanacho or Iheanacho, whatever you want to call him, for me, I'd be saying back as a counter argument, well, why wasn't he playing more games if his goal ratio is that good? What was he doing to influence the games as well? I think if he was to replace Neil Maupay, okay, if he's comfortable coming on for the last 10 minutes in games and stuff like that, then fine. But as I say, in some of the seasons at Leicester, he scored 1 or 2 goals, and it's just not good enough. And I don't care whether he goals to minutes ratio. There's a reason why he's not been playing games. Either he's injured, or he's not proven to be good enough in training, or there's been other issues. So listen, I'll allow you guys to make that judgment on him. But as a squad player, I suppose if Neil Maupay goes, possibly if it was cheap, maybe 3 million. It's going to be more than that. Talking about like 15 million for the guy. It's absolute awful signing in my opinion if it's that kind of money. As Emma's saying, actually, I think he was more of an FA Cup player. Yeah, I knew Jamie Vardy was in front of him, and Jamie Vardy was terrible last season. So it says a lot. We can come back to the Nacho one. The source is apparently a good source. Apparently, so we could well see him join. Lawrence is saying he'd like to see Broby and Bonyface. I mean, it's like they're making up some names. I was in an event on Saturday night, and the surnames for the people on the table made me laugh. We had a grocer, an M Belcher, an L Looking, an R Stubbings, a C Pigot. So no offense if you've got these surnames, but it's like you could literally name any of these people if they were footballers and say that Everton decided them. We wouldn't have a clue. I don't have a clue who Broby was. But from doing my research since we've been linked with him, he looks like a really talented young striker, Dutch international, pace, strength, energy, goals, technical quality, high ceiling, exactly what Everton should be looking at. David saying we missed a £25 million clause on that. Well, what does that say? Maybe he's not good enough. Maybe we didn't want to pay 25 million euros. Maybe he's not worth that. I suppose if we wanted that and we had the money, we'd do it. And maybe the clause is like a straight 25 million up front cash. We don't have that, I don't think. We want to do loan with a buy obligation. We'll give you 1 million now, and we'll buy him if he scores more than 5 goals or makes more than 5 appearances, or some really easy attainable thing. But we basically need a way of doing like payments in the future where we don't have to give them the money without affecting FFP. Emma say we've been linked with Splunk. Yeah, that's a sleeve sponsor. They don't know how I've come up with these names. I'm going to move on now, if that's okay. Where was I on my notes? Yeah, I mean, I can't not talk about this one. This is the big one. So we thought he was going to Villarreal. To Sevilla, sorry. Ads all over the place. He wasn't going to Sevilla, was he? He was going to AC Milan, Danjuma. And they were saying he'd gone to Danjuma and everyone was kicking off, everyone was kicking off. And then a few hours later, it come out that Everton had closed in on Danjuma, agreed a deal. We're going to pay them 3.5 million euros or pounds. I don't quite know the ins and outs, but we're going to pay them 4.5 million loan fee plus wages. And the reason we've done that is because we didn't agree to the valuation of the player, and they wanted an obligation if it was a loan. So they said, yeah, you can have him now for free, because cover his wages, but in 12 months' time, obviously, to satisfy your FFP and situation, you can sign him, but we want 30 million for him, or 20, I think it was 27 million. And Everton said, no, we'd rather pay a loan fee. And, we don't agree with that. And you know what? He could just get sent back at the end of next season and we move on. And, as far as I'm concerned, I don't really care about the medium to long term too much. I care more about getting to Bramley-Moore in one piece. I think if we get some competent people in, once we're in Bramley-Moore, we will open up a plethora of avenues for commercial deals, actually make some money as a club, and can start then investing in academy and get players in earlier, develop them, sell them, have them for, if they're not good enough for us, sell them to lower league clubs. If they're good enough for us, great. If they're too good for us, for whatever reason, sell, make money. So we can invest in the academy, invest in the first team, and everything we need to do infrastructure-wise. But we've got to get into that stadium in one piece as a Premier League club. Thoughts on Danjuma? Well, I was really happy that he signed in January and then didn't sign. I did a video on it. You can watch that. It's probably still stands. A lot of people will say he'll come in and be our best player, basically, our best attacking player. He was very good in the Champions League for them. I don't quite understand the circumstances as to why, he's not been actually just bought by someone and moved on. Obviously, he is a mercenary. Let's get this straight. He was in the Everton shirt. He'd done the media. He'd signed the contract. It hadn't been sent to the FA. But the deal was pulled last minute and he went to Tottenham. He scored one goal. I think he scored on his debut in the FA Cup. And then he scored one more Premier League game. Didn't get a sniff. Really hard to get into that team with Son and Richarlison and Harry Kane there. I can't really judge him on much, but the Spurs fans that I've spoken to have said, in view of this, that he will, he'll be a player that can get us out of trouble next season if we happen to be down there. 27 million, of course. There's no way we could agree to that, of course, with an obligation. It's just scandalous if he flopped. So I think the sensible thing is the £3.5 million loan fee. Ironically, the same amount that Everton received up front for Ellis Sims. So what does that say? But, Danjuma can play up front. So I think if Calvert-Lewin's out injured, he could probably cover, assuming we don't get into the striker in. He can also play on the left or right. I think he is the natural replacement for Richarlison in that he's a strong, fairly athletic, fairly quick, wide forward type player. And so I think we have finally got a Richarlison replacement. It's just, I think he is more of a left-sided winger. We've got Dwight McNeil. We're now looking at Gnonto. So where does he fit in? But forgetting about January, as Emma's saying, we have to overlook January. I thought he was signing for Lampard, then he left. Sean come in. I agree. I think we have to forget about it because, footballers generally are, they're chasing the money, they're chasing the dreams and stuff as well, as you're seeing with a lot of players going to Saudi Arabia, players like Jordan Henderson, who are already multi-millionaires going over there to treble the salary, but already earning 250 grand a week. I mean, what can you do with that money? How much money can you do? How much money can you actually spend is what I want to say. But, without going down that road, footballers, a lot of them are motivated by money and the career choice. I can understand why he wanted to go to Tottenham at the time. It was just poor taste, really. So we'll look at it with fresh eyes. We'll give him a chance. He's doing a medical tomorrow, and hopefully they can get the deal done, tomorrow so he can play. I think we've got another preseason game on Tuesday. We've got two tomorrow. I think we play Wigan and we play... Who do we play tomorrow? Is it Stoke? Or Stoke Tuesday? No, we play Wigan tomorrow. Didn't we have two games on one day? It's Tranmere. Okay, we play Wigan tomorrow at 2:00, and then we play Bolton on Tuesday, 7:45, and then Stoke next Saturday. Yeah, I won't be able to watch that Stoke game because I'm working. And I might miss the Bolton-Everton game, but I will watch it back as soon as I can, probably after I finish what I'm doing, and I'll try and get a match reaction up for both of these games. As I said, I don't know about the Stoke one because I'm working that evening, and I can't guarantee the availability of anyone really at the moment. But hopefully we'll be able to... I'll ask Basil to come on and do the match reaction for the Stoke game. But yeah, we've got Wigan first tomorrow. What do I want to say? I want to see Andre Gomez on the pitch. I think some players are apparently injured, which is slightly annoying. Some players are already injured. Mason Holgate played with the under-21s, captained them the other day to a 1-0 defeat to Forest Green Rovers. I'd like to see Andre Gomez given a sniff. Is James Garner and Branthwaite back in training? I'm assuming not. So, give some minutes to Garner, to Calvert-Lewin, because he was injured, ironically, or rested. I don't know. He didn't play in that last game. So yeah, Calvert-Lewin, Gomez. Let's have a look at some of the players. Where is Mikalenko? Where's Ashley Young? Let's get some players involved, see what they're capable of tomorrow. We didn't learn anything from that game against Stade Neon or Neonese or whatever you want to call them, apart from the fact that we narrowly breezed past them with a bunch of under-21 players. I am actually looking forward to the game tomorrow to see how Everton, fare against Wigan. And I think we have to just take it seriously, try and put a good team out, give minutes to everyone. Like I say, Andre Gomez, Calvert-Lewin, give them all a chance and see how they go. Neil's asking about Basil. Basil has, I'm going to take a screenshot of that because he'll be happy that someone actually remembers him. Not remembers him, but appreciates him. He's not been on many streams for 12 months because he's been doing. Obviously, he founded the channel with myself, and he's been doing university as architecture masters, which is extremely time consuming as a course. And I believe he got a first, and he's been offered a job in London and the job in Manchester. He's just working out what he wants to do. So. His season ticket, hopefully he'll still be able to come up for some of the games, the home games, and use his season ticket. And hopefully he'll be on more streams moving forward. So if you're wondering who Basil is, that's also David. They've got the same name, not Basil Brush. Thanks for asking, Neil. You've been with us for 2 years now. Really appreciate your support. So we talked about Danjuma. Let me know what you think about Danjuma in the comments. If you're watching back as well, is he a good signing? I think beggars can't be choosers. I think he's got quality, and I think we have to accept that. And he could be really good for us. The other news is Anthony Elanga has said no to Everton. He's going to Nottingham Forest, £15 million. I suspect there we've just we've not met the valuation of 15 million. There was talk of 8 to 10. I don't see us spending 15 million on him. He 26 appearances last season, no goals. Why is he not broken into Man U team? Anthony flatters to deceive as far as I'm concerned. And there's other options there for Man United. He didn't get a sniff. He wanted to join us in January, which makes me think perhaps it's just about the financial thing here. Yeah, he doesn't think he's suitable for Dyche's tactics. But he's going to go to Forest and probably get relegated, or you can just see it. Forest going down, or Steve Cooper getting sacked or someone like that. Yeah, I'll pass on your kind words to Basil. He'll probably watch this back. So I'll just put these on the stream. Thing is, the Blues are saying, Peter's saying Anthony Elanga doesn't want to play for Dyche, but when it gets to the stage of bid and all that, the agent normally has had a conversation with our director of football and given at least some indication, I think he wouldn't have been any stranger to it. So we must have had some encouragement in January and now. So I am surprised. I mentioned before, Victor Boniface is going to Union Berlin as it stands, 15 million euros. I suspect if we want that player, we'll go in and offer that kind of money. There must be an underlying reason. Is there anything else I've missed out on? Is there anything else anyone would like to cover before I go? I think just one thing before I go. Amadou Onana is looking like he's going to stay now that Declan Rice has gone to Arsenal, because I think they were the front runners for him. He was one of the backup options had they not got Rice. Caicedo to Chelsea. Hopefully they can get that one done, because I think if they don't, Onana could be on the list as a CDM. I think we need to find a way to integrate Onana, because if he's wanted by these people, There's a player in there. Okay. I think I've covered everything that I want to cover on this stream, and I've been on for half an hour. I wasn't really going to do a stream given the circumstances. It's very, very quiet at the moment due to obviously what's gone on. And if you've just joined us, obviously Amy Dixon, you'll have seen her on here many times. Wonderful, wonderful pundit who comes on here and friend, and very popular on Twitter. Lost her mum on Sunday, very suddenly, aged just 45. We all feel very flat. I feel very, very upset for Amy and her family. So she won't be on here, as far as I know, for a while. And, all your condolences will be passed on if you leave them in the comments, if you're watching back or here. So, yeah, we really do send our love and best wishes to Amy and her family. From my perspective, I am going to try my best to continue what I've been doing throughout the summer, which is coming on seems to be every 4 or 5 days, and just giving you sort of a general overview and my thoughts, and try and get your thoughts on that. So I hope you are still enjoying the streams, and if you are, please hit the like button right now. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on if you haven't done already. When we get some more news coming in, if it's a big news of a player, let's say we get the deal done for Gnonto, or we get the breaking news, I will do a stream and react to that. I don't know whether I'll do anything about Danjuma. I'll try and get some myself or Basil or one of the team to come on tomorrow and give their thoughts on the Tranmere if I'm not going to be available, because I'm working at 5 o'clock tomorrow. So I think it's going to be tight for myself, but I will hopefully get a match reaction for you tomorrow for the Wigan game, and for the other 2 games, try my absolute best to get a match reaction for them as well. And if there's any big breaking news, of course, you'll hear from us first here at Follow Everton. All the best to you all. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of summer. Don't get too stressed out by Everton. It's not worth it. They make us miserable and ill. Let's hope these new players, Danjuma and hopefully some more players, could give us a big lift. I do firmly believe if we can get Danjuma over the line, Gnonto, maybe 1 or 2 more players. Someone, I can't remember who, mentioned about getting a centre-half. I do think that's our weakest position in terms of where we should strengthen if we manage to get everywhere else sorted. But yeah, absolutely. If we can get Danjuma, he's signing tomorrow. If we can get Gnonto in as well, try and keep most of the players. Get another striker in, one of those young strikers, and then look at the centre-back area if we can. I think I look this season, I think most of us will feel fairly optimistic, possibly that we can finish lower mid-table to mid-table, and I think we'd all be happy with that. Just no nonsense next season. Let's not get battered away from home in games. Let's go and try and nick some points away from home, nick some wins, and play with freedom and have a better home record as well would be nice. And just get to Bramley-Moore in one piece is what we all want, with some decent football. We're not expecting miracles, but I think if we can get those 3 players in, young striker, Gnonto and Danjuma, I think we'll be optimistic. And I think we'll be very, very optimistic if we can get a centre-half in, because at the moment, Michael Keane, Mason Holgate, Ben Godfrey and Jared Branthwaite are not great options for Tarkowski. I don't care what you say about Branthwaite. He's not proven at the top level in England. He could be amazing for all I know. For all we know, he could be absolutely fantastic, but it's a big risk. So I think we need to get another centre-half in, and hopefully Branthwaite can break through as well and be that player that we suspect he is. And I'd like to see if Neil Maupay goes, just to like an experienced centre-forward who can come in maybe on a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract and chip in, and be an impact player. Because you've got 9 players on the bench. You can make 5 subs. At the moment, we're going to have 3 keepers. So, we've got to utilise the squad. Otherwise, that's a competitive advantage that we're completely missing out on. The fact that we don't have enough options to come off the bench and can't actually change 5 players with similar quality is a scary thought. And that's why we've got to probably keep Damari Gray, probably keep Alex Iwobi, of course keep Dwight McNeil, and then add in Gnonto. And at this stage, I wouldn't be too against Andre Gomez staying unless we get a good offer, if he can prove himself in pre-season, because I think give you a bit of options. And I think with a natural defensive midfielder around him and players who can cover him a little bit better, cover the ground, I think he could be okay. Excuse me. that is definitely the end of the show. Yeah, that's definitely the end of the show. I don't know what happened there. Listen, thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully someone will have some content for you to, with these match reactions. And I'll be back with breaking news in due course. I wish you all the best. Have